What's the strangest / weirdest thing you've seen in someone else's house? My last boss was a 42-year-old white southern wealthy businessman. He had a framed picture in his living room of Antoine Dodson, the hide yo kids hide yo wife dude. I went to my friend Brian's house once for dinner and his mom set 4 places. One for me, one for Brian, one for herself, and the last one was for a doll with a cutout picture of Brian's dead grandmother's face taped to the doll's face. Very creepy. Hundreds of those automatic Febreze sprays. Like actual hundreds. I couldn't breathe inside the house. Edit, the house belonged to an old lady. The entire house was creepy AF. It was located right next to a shooting range, and we had to interrupt every conversation because of gunshots. I didn't seem old, but it was probably under one of the thousands of lace curtains. Everything was covered with lace, even some of the Febreze sprayers. I cat sat for my neighbor once. Some kitty's medication was kept cold. When I opened the fridge to grab it, I noticed tub after tub of jello. Everything in the fridge was jello. Like 40 tubs of it. Nothing else besides the medicine. My Filipino friend has this thing on his mantle. It's a chili pepper with a face that has nunchucks, which are themselves made out of 2 small chili peppers. I ask him what the duck is going on, but he just chuckles and tells me not to worry. When I was in high school, my mom came home from a garage sale with a coffin. It was a wooden antique from England. It was from the 19th century. It had screw holes in the top which lifted all the way off. The couple who sold it to her were getting rid of it because they disagreed about what purpose it should serve. The wife wanted to keep using it as a coffee table /blanket storage and the husband wanted to turn it into a gun rack. My mom thought it was great as a coffee table, so my siblings and I spent the next few years asking our friends, would you like a blanket from the coffin? While we watched TV. So yeah, high school was fun. Toured a condo, and they had a communal shower, you know the kind you would see at the YMCA, like 6 shower heads. I picture them having all their buddies over to take a shower together. A framed picture of an egg. I work in a job where sometimes I have to go deploy equipment in people's homes. I was doing a project where I had to set up some stuff in the kitchen of a very nice vacation rental, which was unoccupied due to the fact that this was February in northern Michigan. The whole thing was decked out to the nines in cutesy, wealthy grandma type decor, except for the kitchen. The only artwork in there was a painting of 3 fish with photorealistic peepers and testicles instead of tails, hanging above the stove, so that it was the first thing you saw when you walked in. I have never been so disappointed that our project instructions forbade the photographing of property owners' belongings. Oh boy, okay. This happened a couple years ago. Hopefully I can remember all the details. So my mom and I stopped at what was advertised as a garage sale in my neighborhood. They had a bunch of kids stuff in the front yard, and we were looking for stuff for my son, so we decided to check it out, but when we got close it was all in really bad shape. No big deal, we think, let us go inside. As we're walking in, we're greeted by a person we assume to be the owner of the house. He was wearing black pants and a tiny leather vest with no shirt underneath. I see this now for the red flag that it was. He welcomes us and tells us everything in the house is for sale. Everything. Look anywhere you want, he says. Open all the drawers. Look in all the closets. Okay, cool. Definitely don't not say anything about there being anything weird in the house. First things first, the house is kind of hitty/trashed, but still looks relatively normal. Only obviously weird thing is that they have a giant TV playing a crazy looking horror movie. Super scary and gory. He says the TV is for sale too, so maybe Theo just playing whatever is on to show it works. We look around and not find anything good and decide to go upstairs. Once upstairs we proceed into the first bedroom. Looks pretty normal. Kind of small and furnished for a kid. Nothing we want. Okay, move on. The next bedroom looks like someone is sleeping in the bed. Oops, sorry. But no, it is a full-sized human horror prop of a very realistic zombie woman, and oh duck in the corner is a very realistic prop of half a human crawling across the floor. These things looked so real, guys. We're like, Jesus, what the duck? These people are serious about Halloween. We go to the next room, and it is set up like a full-on dungeon with torture equipment and fake humans and piles of Barbie heads for some reason. Close bracket. We are seriously freaked out and decide to leave as quickly and quietly as possible. As when we're walking out of the dungeon room, a woman comes out of the other creepy room. We look at each other, wide-eyed and silent, and all proceed out the front door to separately process our trauma. This was many years ago. I had a friend in first grade, and she was never allowed over to my house, still no idea why. But I visited her home once. It was a very tiny apartment with 2 closet-sized bedrooms. The one bedroom had a crib like what a baby half her size would sleep in. She told me that was where she slept. I found it quite odd and very disturbing even in my 6-year-old mind. I moved away the end of the school year, so never found out more. One of my old best friends is a bit on the eccentric side. Instead of a dining table and chairs, he has a full corner booth and table recovered from an Applebee's that was either closing down or remodeling. It takes up the entire dining side of his kitchen. When I was little, I had 2 friends who had a trapeze in their living room. I loved playing at their houses. My girlfriend in college had many odd things on shelves. I think the strangest were 3 bearded dragon fetuses suspended in alcohol in small glass vials. I married her, so I guess I should say our shelf now. Edit. A lot of people are asking for it, so here is a picture of them. https://i.imga.com/4jegv.jpg. Edit 2. She corrected me. Only 2 bearded dragons. The smallest is a bird fetus. Edit 3. /u/doodlebug1989 is the witch in question. My aunt has a framed photo of Meryl Streep in her computer room. I was very perplexed and asked my cousin if she noticed the rogue Meryl, and she casually said, "Oh yeah, I told mom that her and Meryl Streep looked alike, and then I guess she printed that out." You go, Aunt Yvonne. A functioning toilet against the wall in a bedroom. Edit. To be clear, there was no sink, which makes it way more disturbing, emo. I did a window replacement on a big house in an expensive old area of town. It was lived in by an elderly lady until she passed. It was recent because all her things were still there. This place was a perfect time capsule of the 1960s. Each room had a different theme/vibe, and there were mannequins set up all wearing 60s clothing in every room and different scenarios. It was really bizarre. Kinda seemed like the lady was lonely or something. I cleaned houses for a while. One client was an elderly funeral home owner who lived alone in a big place. His master bathroom was carpeted, gross, and had a urinal. Directly above the urinal at eye level was an oil painting portrait of a man staring back at you. Edit. Oh man, I completely forgot my other favorite thing I ever found. Another single guy's house, this one mid-60s, retired. Prominently stuck on the front of his computer was a full-size sticky note which said only http://www.reddit.com. A storage room with hooks on the ceiling and floor. They had a large moose head with amber glass eyes mounted high above their fireplace mantle. As I've noted on AskReddit some time ago, there were electric bulbs behind the amber glass eyes that lit up, making the moose look like it was agitated and about to charge. New neighbors just moved in. My roommates and I offered to help them with furniture. Their townhouse was next to us, and their front door was open, so we walked in, introduced ourselves and made the offer. They said to come back in about an hour. We go back. When they come over, ask us to help now. When we walk in the living room, lo and behold, there's a TV hooked up with a home movie PPO playing with the wife riding the husband. Needless to say, this was over 30 years. Still friends with them to this day. Update. Okay, turns out our neighbors were swingers, this in the late 80s. It was a somewhat invitation to see if we were interested in joining them. My roommates and I were in our early 20s, the couple next door, in their 30s. My one roommate did get involved with them a few times. Fast forward to the present, I'm still friends with the couple, as is my former roommates. Please subscribe to Reddit Throne. Please subscribe to Reddit Throne.